Right Network. Mobilizing, countering the left, energizing the right. New Right Network, home of the New Right movement.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to New Right Network's original series, SmythTV. Your host, Brian Smith, giving you all the breaking news of the day, wrapping it all up, exposing the fake news, and giving you the real news every single day, Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. And right after the show is the Wayne Dupree Show, so you've got 2 hours of back-to-back news and information so that you know what's going on, you know the truth, and you can expose these propagandists for who they are, whether it be the Democrat Party or CNN, MSNBC, and collusion and obstruction of real news. Folks, if this is the first time been on the show, welcome. This is how the show works. Down in the description below, there's a link that says show notes. That'll take you directly over to newrightnetwork.com, and right there'll be all 3 pages of show notes and all the links in the descriptions of each and every single patriot that we showcase here on Twitter. So just click on their name. It'll take you right over to Twitter to where they are. And I'm telling you right now, if you want to build your Twitter following, these are the folks to follow. A lot of them, almost all of them, follow back, and they try to maintain. And if you have MAGA or America First Agenda, they'll definitely follow you back. Jump over there, follow us at Smyth Television, and I'll follow you back at Brian P. Smith as well. And as we jump into the show, folks, what an incredible day. Past couple days, it's been just absolute insanity when it comes to these stinking demon rats. These Democrats are out of control. Now, before we get into it, a couple of things that I did not put in the show notes, and this is just kind of last minute record breaking. Over at the gatewaypundit.com, they just posted an article that says he lied. Portland police release statement claim Mayor Wheeler gave police stand down orders during a violent protest. We've seen this before, and now it's coming out. These police officers are not putting up with this anymore. And why do they stand down? Folks, they'll lose their job. They'll lose their livelihood. They'll lose everything. That's why these police officers, when they're told to stand down, they absolutely have to. I have good friends that are cops. And, if you got a 15, 20-year career with the law enforcement and you don't heed to a stand-down order, yeah, that's really bad. And it's unfortunate that the mayor is using his power like this in Portland, Oregon. And if you guys are just catching up, it was the violent Antifa protest. We did a whole show yesterday about it. The Democrats embracing Antifa, and now one Democrat not. So we'll get into a little bit of that. But, yeah, we've definitely got to get America law and order, get it under control, because this is out of control. This is unacceptable, where we got sanctuary cities, sanctuary states, and now we got violence in the street where people are being bloodied and bludgeoned, having to go to the hospital, getting stitches. I mean, just some really bad stuff out there, and nobody's stopping it. That's not America. And that's not what we should put up with. So as we get into the show today, trending Betsy Ross versus Nike, I'm just going to touch on a little bit. It's ridiculousness. It's the Colin Kaepernick kind of BS. It's the reason why I don't watch football anymore, and it's so unfortunate. But we've got some really great Trump news, Trump 2020. Folks, this is big. This is really big news. We'll get into that and leave you feeling really good and happy. But we're definitely going to have to dig into Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, the Democrat Party, and this illegal immigration. Guys, I know I talked about a little bit about it yesterday, and we went over the whole issue with Ocasio-Cortez going down to the border. It's now worse. If you didn't think it could get worse, it's now really bad. And the reason why they're doing this, the reason why it's getting really bad, is because Donald Trump is doing so good. The better Donald Trump does, the worse these demon rats get, and we'll definitely showcase that. And then we'll round it out with Democrats 2020. And the silly things and the games that they're playing, it's just ridiculousness, but we'll get to it. And it's going to make you feel better, because once you know what they're up to, once you know what they're saying and how they're moving, you're going to be like, man, we got this in the back, but we can't give in. We've got to continue to keep talking about this. And like right here on SmythTV, folks, we've got to continue this new medium forward, where you're getting the real news every single day, wrapping it up, making sense of it, exposing the fake news and giving you the real news. Again, crush the share, crush the like. If you're on the YouTubes, click the bell to make sure you get the notifications. And down in the description below, again, I said that Wayne Dupree comes on at 8 o'clock. The link to his show is in the description, so just jump over to there once the show's over tonight. Also, the Patreon, PayPal, and Cash Me links are there. iHeartRadio, we're always on iHeartRadio, so if you want to listen to us there, the link is in the description, iHeart.com podcast, as well as Telegram. Don't miss a single show, a single moment from what's going on. Always get the full show notes. Click the button for Telegram. Get the app for Telegram, and the link right there for our group is right there. It's not a lot of information, just one text a day, if you will. It has the links to Facebook, YouTube's, Twitter, Periscope Live, and the show notes. And I just want to mention this. I forgot to tell you guys about this yesterday, but if you are a Patreon, and the link for the Patreon's down there, if you're a Patreon of SmythTV, you get the show notes and early access to the show way before it goes live. You're privy to all the information, as well as being involved in our chat room, our private message chat room, 24/7. You can talk with me and all our Patreons as well. So it pays to be a Patreon. Jump over there and become one today. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Betsy Ross versus Nike. You know, it really pains me, folks. It really does, that I have to defend. Department of Miseducation is the reason why. The universities today are just absolutely riddled with communist, socialist. Guys, I went when I was in the Air Force back in the 90s. After that, my brother and sister were at Purdue already and convinced me, there's a girl I was dating. And they convinced me to go to Purdue University, use the GI Bill, and go to college. That's what you need to do, Brian. Go to college. So I went. It lasted a couple of years. The first year was easy. I didn't study nothing. I didn't buy any books. I really didn't do anything. Second year, and I passed pretty well. Second year, had to get an elective for whatever reasons. That's insanity, folks. If I want to go to school to learn something, why do I have to take electives when I don't even want? So I took wine appreciation. Yeah, it was at 7 o'clock at night. It was wine tasting. You learn about wine and the struggling vine theory. Yeah, I learned something, y'all. That book was $200 for that class. I did not buy it, and I passed fairly well. So anyways, I digress. I'm complaining about the socialism, the miseducation, the misinformation, and we've got Betsy Ross and Nike and Colin Kaepernick. Well, Nike buckling to the PC crowd. Colin Kaepernick just completely dunced, completely lost when it comes to information. My brother told me, he said he took the football major. It was OLS, Organizational Leadership. All the football players from Purdue University, Drew Brees and the rest of them. Yeah, folks, I'm dating myself. That goes back to the early 2000s. It was before 9/11. Before 9/11, Drew Brees at Purdue University in classes with my brother, because organizational leadership, you got to know that kind of stuff. So you can't expect, and I'm not saying all football players are, low education, but you can't expect Colin Kaepernick to know about the founding of America. Ironically, that he was raised by two white people that adopted him. How about that? Anyway, so let's jump over to this real quick. Kimberly Guilfoyle tweeted out, America and the promise made in the Declaration of Independence gave birth to the greatest nation on the planet. But Kaepernick and the corporate PC police are embarrassed by the flag that promise, pathetic, stand for America and the flag. And this is at the wallstreetjournal.com. Nike nixes Betsy Ross's flags on the sneakers after Colin Kaepernick intervenes. We got a long battle and a long way to go. We've got to start somewhere, and now's a better time than any, folks. Jump over to SmythTV, become a Patreon, link arms with the rest of us. We've got to inform the youth. We've got to make a difference in this new medium, this new news media at newrightnetwork.com. A lot of great writers over there, real information exposing the fake news, going back through history and explaining what really is American history and American exceptionalism, and the fact that we were founded, and this is the exceptionalism, that we were founded, the first country ever in all of human history, which is amazing, folks, that we were founded on the notion that the government is to serve the people, that the presidents and the elected officials are there to serve the people. The first time in all of human history that has ever been done with the Constitution and Declaration of Independence, all of that wrapped up for the perfect storm to create an incredible country founded on Christian Judeo values. Our founding fathers, absolute Christians, devout Christians, but also believed that the government should not be involved in religion or linked to religion. They come from, back in Europe where you were beholden to and had to worship the kings and queens. They didn't want anything like that whatsoever. So that was our First Amendment. And now this, disrespecting the flag and what it stands for, kneeling for the flag and for the veterans that have died. And folks, I'm not upset because I'm a veteran. I'm not upset for them kneeling for the flag for me. I'm upset for those that have died. Those that have died, you are disrespecting, absolutely disrespecting the men and women who've put their lives on the line for this great country. And it's just a travesty that we've got individuals like this. And that one goofy girl and soccer chick with the colored hair, blue, purple, pink hair, going across the pond to kneel for the national anthem, America's U.S. soccer team. You know what was quite amazing is that a lot of people were commenting on social media, I hope the women's soccer team fails. I hope they lose. I'm with you. I don't care. I hope they lose too. How dare you? And how dare the coach allow that to go down as well? So as we're coming up on the 4th of July, 242 years of America's birth, this is the time of year where we all get excited. We get together, light off fireworks, and celebrate America's birth. I try and tell these stories to my children. I try and bring them back up again and real historical stories about things that are happening in America that have happened and giving the real context. Something else that my wife homeschools, and she kind of gave me privy to this because it can be difficult to find a real history and what really transpired and what happened. But as a homeschool teacher, she found out that reading the biographies of those who lived in that day and age, you'll get the real news. And if you want to get the inside scoop to everything that was going on, the way of life and how things worked, read the biographies of the wives that lived back in that day, and you can get some real insight to what was going on. And my wife gave me this. I had no idea, guys, but the founding fathers, a lot of them were friends and linked together either through marriage or through family, one way or another, but shared a very strong bond. And with the blessing of God himself, that's the only way that this could have happened. Amazing that a ragtag team of, Americans, bucking the system, bucking the odds, going all out and saying no to the greatest superpower of the day in 1776, saying, no, we will not bow to you. We will not kneel to you. We will not worship you, and we will be free and have our freedom, or we'll die for it. Just amazing. Not only that, but kids don't think that, we won the war in 1717. That was all over with. No, man. In War of 1812, Britain still didn't want to let go. Going all the way up to 1890s, Great Britain still didn't want to let go. You're only talking just a little over 100 years, and the government and the kings and queens of Great Britain still salty that they lost all the Americas all the way up until World War I, until we got our first communist president, Woodrow Wilson. And folks, if you were with me last Friday, I played the clip. Incredible documentary. You've got to see it. If you haven't seen it, go back to Friday's show. Conspiracy World War I, how it happened, what transpired, the beginning, the start of it, and then the dragging in, the tricking and dragging in of America into World War I, the conspiracy. And folks, I claim right here, right now, that we are still fighting that good fight today of the deep state, the communist president, not Donald Trump, but the ones that were the Hillary Clintons and the Barack Obamas and the Bill Clintons. All of those that we're still fighting to this day are the ones that are cut from the same cloth of Woodrow Wilson, J.P. Morgan, and the likes of them, Rhodes, and all of them. They conspired with the awful, dirty Great Britain government that wanted nothing more than to get us all into war to stop the rise of free Germany, which was becoming an incredible powerhouse, not a threat, but successful. The citizenry making more money than they'd ever made before, growing by leaps and bounds, and people were happy and excited and lots of work, and growing beyond the size of Great Britain and France. Can't have that. Willing to go to war to kill innocent lives, 9 million troops dead, 7 million civilians dead. This is what we have to stop. And thank God for Donald Trump calling off the airstrike to Iran because of the possibility of 150 casualties in Iran. It's not their fault that the government's doing this. The innocent civilians, they're attempting to rise up and stop the evil dictator, Ayatollah Khomeini. But Donald Trump saying that 150 dead bodies is not worth the price tag of a drone, $200 million. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, if you guys had heard me, for some reason, I was stuck on the notion that 2 drones were shot down, and that wasn't true. I just correct myself. It was only 1 drone. Just to let you know, I correct myself on that. Anyways, but World War I, 9 million dead soldiers, 7 million dead civilians. Over what? America got into the war over what? The sinking of the Lusitania, which was registered as a warship on the books in Great Britain. And how many Americans died? 126 Americans. Folks, take that in. 126 Americans died on Lusitania. Innocent civilians, I understand. Every life is precious. If it was my friends or family that died, I would absolutely be heartbroken. But there's no way on God's green earth that I would say my wife and children died on Lusitania. We go to war. Go to war with the world. Go to war with the world. No, guys, that's just so wrong. And this is what we're fighting today. The Democrats taking us into war, driving us into war, attempting to drive us and suck us into war, and it's just a shame. But we've got Donald Trump at the helm, steering this in the right direction. Thank you so much, sir. And as we're talking about, let's jump into illegal immigration real quick so that we can end on a high note with Donald Trump and all the great things that are happening with this country. And this by our good friend at Soul Memes 1. When did mini AOC official become so realistic? This girl is good.
Can you say it again in English, please? There's abuse in these facilities. There's abuse. This is them on their best behavior, and they put them in a room with no running water, and these women were being told by CBP officers to drink out of the toilet. They were drinking water out of the toilet. And that was them knowing that a congressional visit was coming. This is CBP on their best behavior, telling people to drink out of the toilet.
Did you see somebody actually do that?
Go home to mommy. Go home. Bye. Go home to mommy.
You gotta tell them silent breed is...
Okay, guys, this is Mini AOC. Yes, apparently that Twitter said to unfollow her. She has become an overnight sensation. She's following 58 people, and now she has 86,000 people following her, doing a fantastic job making fun of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And if you didn't know the reference to what that was, now you do. AOC in front of media telling them that CBP has forced these captured illegal immigrants that are being housed in air-conditioned, heated, air-conditioned places. They got 3 square meals a day and snacks and romper room to boot, as well as, tennis courts or basketball courts and soccer fields, volleyball, books, libraries. No. These people are being housed, and she's claiming that she saw or witnessed or somebody told her that Border Patrol is forcing them to drink out of the toilet. That was her right there. Folks, this is beyond gaslighting, and this is extremely, it's beyond dangerous. This is so bad that Democrat voters are going to take this, and they're going to say this is why they'll never become a Republican, or this is why Donald Trump is the evils of the world. Back during Bush's reign, they would put horns on Dick Cheney and paint George Bush as the devil. They never fought back. That's why they're still considered the devil. Donald Trump fighting this evilness back, and this has got to be reined in. Somebody's got to do something about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, calling out CBP, claiming that they're causing and warehousing illegals and forcing them to drink out of the toilet. And this, our good friend at Jelly_Cat, CAT. AOC, Representative AOC, House Democrats lied. No CBP told anyone in a refugee camp to drink out of a toilet. We, the people, call for AOC, Ilhan, to step down. They do not represent American citizens. We want action taken at Speaker Pelosi and Leader Hoyer. I'm also going to throw in there Rashida Tlaib, because she is condoning the behavior and jumping on the bandwagon with AOC. And this Jesse Waters. Okay, in case you're confused, why would somebody drink from the toilet? How do they not understand what the toilet looks like? Or what is all the confusion? Well, I put this tweet together with a couple of pictures of the toilets that are in these facilities, and this is why it's confusing. AOC absolutely gaslighting her base. This doesn't end well. And for those of you...
Say it again in English, please. There's abuse in these facilities. There's abuse. This was them on their best behavior, and they put them in a room with no running water, and these women were being told by CBP officers to drink out of the toilet. They were drinking water out of the toilet. And that was them knowing a congressional visit was coming. This is CBP on their best behavior, telling people to drink out of the toilet.
Did you see somebody actually do that?
And she doesn't answer the question. For those of you audio only, there is a stainless steel toilet, and the back of the toilet rises up high, and there's an actual sink in the back of the toilet, and there's also a button for a water fountain that you push in. This is what they have in jails all across America, whether you're in a county jail, federal prison, or whatnot. These toilets are everywhere because it's extremely convenient and it's extremely easy to keep clean. For her to misrepresent this and then say they put them in a room without water. My bedroom doesn't have water in it. My living room doesn't have... We didn't put them in a room without water. Put them in a room, lock the door. Well, you can ask for water. Maybe they bring the food to you. I don't know how it works or how it goes, but obviously they got a system. But on top of that, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez voted no to funding the border multiple times, voted no on the bills to help this overcrowding issue, and it is beyond boiling point. It is overboiling. It is spilling over everywhere, and it is out of control. This is the manufactured crisis. The Democrat Party is literally manufacturing a crisis on the border. Why, Brian? because Donald Trump is winning. They got nothing. Not only that, but they're suing Donald Trump for his taxes. Why, Brian? Because they're losing. They're losing the battle and they're losing the race. So don't get upset about this, guys. Don't get upset. But understand that this is what it's all about, is that the Democrats have no new ideas. Their platform is godless. They're not coming up with anything creative or inventive. They're not even going, well, they are actually going back to their own playbook. But Donald Trump is going back to the basics. That's what Donald Trump is doing. Let's get back to the basics of nationalism. America first, the citizens of America first. And we're seeing here right on display, 2020 candidates and Democrats are all about immigrants first and not Americans. And this posted up also by the WashingtonExaminer.com. AOC screamed at Border Patrol agents in a threatening manner during her tour. Witness. So now we have two outlets reporting, Fox News and the Washington Examiner, both reporting that AOC literally lied about what she was saying. I don't know where she got the information that the woman was drinking from the toilet. I don't know where she got that. Apparently, Jesse Waters was able to get a transcript from the woman who said that she never said that. And now we've got this, and it's out of control, people. This has got, something has to be done to AOC. Some kind of censure, something has to be done. And this, our good friend at Cindy B233. This is a standard toilet in detention centers. Notice the water fountain is attached to the toilet. AOC lying again. And there you go, folks. It's right there. It says potable water, agua potable. It means it's drinkable water. Does not mean that you stick your head in the toilet. And this, our good friend at John McGeever 70. Border Patrol Council Vice President calls BS on AOC. Demands government release video of her visit inside the El Paso facility. Reportedly, Ocasio-Cortez screamed at law enforcement agents.
Me now is Hector Garza, a Border Patrol agent and VP of the National Border Patrol Council. Yes.
So first of all, this is grandstanding. Our Border Patrol agents don't do that type of activity. Those detention cells are under constant surveillance. So we call for CBP to release that video footage to the public to make sure that we can disprove what AOC is saying.
Do you think that they will be releasing the video footage?
Well, I can tell you that we're going to try very hard to make sure that CBP does release that video footage.
Okay.
This is the insanity and the nonsense. This all started under Barack Obama, guys. It was Barack Obama's idea to cage the children, give them the blankets that were made out of foil. However, the optics of the fencing and the optics of the foil blankets doesn't look well. But I'm going to tell you, it's for their safety, and those blankets do actually keep you really warm. But no, it's for their safety. There was a report of a young girl that had been raped. I believe they said they were able to identify 21 different perpetrators that raped this young girl. This is why these detention centers are on lockdown. And don't tell me somebody's starving. I don't want to hear that. Don't tell me somebody's starving. In America, they feed you well. And down there at the border, if you're starving, it's because they need more money because they're out of food. They need more money. They're out of food. Nancy Pelosi buckles at the knees, gets Donald Trump $4.6 billion for help on the border. I'm just saying, this is the problem. This is what they're causing. And another thing, just off the top of my head, how about you don't come to America? If you're going to starve and somebody's going to force you into a toilet, how about you stay home? How about you don't come here? This is not going to solve the world's problems by everybody coming to America. It's not. We've got to help these people where they're at. Leave them where they're at. Help you where you're at. Allow you to keep your nationalism. Allow you to keep your culture. When you introduce multiple cultures all at one time, that doesn't work. And it hasn't worked. And now we're seeing in Europe absolutely imploding because of the different cultures and the culture clashes that are happening over there right now, whether it be in France or be in Great Britain or Germany. Granted, on top of that, they are Muslim. They don't work with anybody. And this is our good friend at Jake Palmieri. I really hope they get their hands on this video footage. AOC won't stop tweeting and changing her story. Someone is nervous. This by the PalmieriReport.com. And this at Trump Lady Fan, our good friend, winning in America 2020. Shame on AOC using border children as political pawns to promote socialism in America. SJW Jr. Congresswoman from bartender to D.C. If you listen real closely in the background, people are screaming at her liar, liar, and BS as Ocasio-Cortez speaks.
Hi, everybody. Hope we were able to get through this. My name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I am the Congresswoman from New York's 14th Congressional District. I represent a community that is overwhelmingly diverse in all ways. We have urban communities. I represent home-owning communities. I represent constituents that are both immigrants and United States citizens, and both, oftentimes. What we saw today was unconscionable. No child should ever be separated from their parent. No child should ever be taken from their family. No woman should ever be locked up in a pen when they have done no harm to another human being. They should be given water. They should be given basic access to human rights. And it is a false notion. The idea that we have to choose between people is a false notion. No child ever has to suffer for the benefit of another. And I will never accept that argument. Thank you.
So as you hear the crowd screaming, liar, 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 pants on fire, it's absolutely true. And she said no woman should be locked up for not harming another human being. Well, if the woman is driving down the road and she's drunk, she's going to get locked up. Do it multiple times, you're going to get locked up for multiple times. That's just one thing where you're not hurting anybody else, as long as you don't wreck or something like that. But what is this? This is crazy nonsense. No kid should be separated from their parents. Never. Well, if the parent's doing harm to themselves or drugs or alcohol or something like that, absolutely the kids get taken away from their parents all the time. If the parents go to jail, automatically separated. This is the gaslighting that she is doing right now, and it's not very good because she's not a professional at it. Some of the senior congressmen and women have better abilities doing this. This isn't boding very well, and we are not letting this go, folks. You and I both sticking together strong right here, newrightnetwork.com, every single night, Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Right after the show is Wayne Dupree's show. Down in the description below is the link to his show, as well as the full show notes, usually about 3 pages or so. Follow each and every one of these great patriots that we showcase here on the show, as well as some of the great articles. I don't read through them all, obviously, but I'll paraphrase them. But a lot of these articles are great to go back and read through, get all the subtle little details so that you, when you're talking to your friends and your family, you can tell them flat out, here's the facts. And now we got Rashida Tlaib jumping in, piling on. We can't just focus on the children anymore. I met grandmothers and mothers and fathers who are suffering. This is devastating. The look in one father's eyes broke my heart. I can't look away. Hashtag close the camps. And then ironically, I guess we follow each other. We got another friend we just found on Twitter, Glenn Woodfin. As Glenn tweeted out to Rashida Tlaib, you can find the worst stories in every major Democrat-run city in America with the homeless and the vets. Democrats like you don't care about Americans. You care about flooding our country with illegal votes while our homeless don't even live inside. Illegals do. And this at usnews.com. The homeless are dying in record numbers on the streets of Los Angeles. A record number of homeless people, 918 last year alone, are dying across Los Angeles County on bus benches, hillsides, railroad tracks, and sidewalks. Deaths have jumped 76% in the past 5 years, outpacing the growth of the homeless population, according to Kaiser Health News and analysis of the coroner's data. I can attest to you guys. I was there. I lived there for 10 years in L.A., actually down in Long Beach, worked throughout L.A., and it's a fact that I don't know about them. I mean, we got to take the word that they're dying, but it's a fact. The epidemic of homelessness in Los Angeles is out of control. It's wretched. It's awful. It's disgusting. Matter of fact, when I was there back in like 2010, 2011, the police were forbidden to call in the trucks to come clean up all this debris and mess and garbage. City council said, hey, that's their stuff. All the debris and all the garbage, all the needles, the used needles and the trash and everything on the ground. That's their stuff, man. Better leave them alone. And we've got a good friend over there right now, Brenna Murkowski, who's one of the writers at New Right Network, who lives in Los Angeles. And she said that the problem is bigger and worse than I'd ever seen it before. We've got officials downtown Los Angeles who are now contracting the bubonic plague because of all the needles and everything in the city. There's Democrats on display for you. And so AOC tweets out, this was in fact the type of toilet we saw in the cell, except there was just one. And the sink portion was not functioning. Alyssa Presley smartly tried to open the faucet, and nothing came out. So the women were told they could drink out of the bowl. And then our good friend at Tula Arden, beautiful and clean detention center restrooms for the illegals who choose to stay in hopes of getting a U.S. free ride. Seriously, if they don't like it, I can show them the way out. Call me. I'll go with you next time, show you how a patriot gets stuff done. You and I both know this common sense. You're probably as frustrated and outraged at this as I am. But here's the thing, folks. She's not doing this for us. She's doing this for her base. She's doing this to get them fired up. Donald Trump, we got great news coming up. We got great news. Donald Trump is firing his base up with real news. Great stuff, good information, doing all kinds of things worldwide, making the world safe, making America safe, and that's how he's firing his base up. The Democrats need to fire up their base. They need to get that thing started, jump-started. This is how they do it. This is what they do, and this is how awful they are to do this, to lie, trick, by hook or by crook. That's the way they roll. And our good friend at WATSPN 1013, a surge of 35,000 Africans and Middle Easterners are in Panama en route to the U.S. No idea who these immigrants are, nor what diseases they may carry, or if they are dangerous terrorists. Africans from Ebola-stricken Congo are seen rafting to Mexico. This at thegatewaypundit.com, and the Center for Immigration Studies talk about this article. Great one to read. This is new news outlet, folks. This is why you got to support the new news media, because we've got people on the ground doing investigative journalism right here. And follow our good friend at Just Say Truth Now. Why are U.S. citizens not welcome inside taxpayer-funded facilities? Something very bad is happening in our America. Why are state governments giving our tax money to illegal aliens? News reporter walking into facility.
I was told I could have an interview.
There's no media.
Excuse me, is there any government funding, taxpayer funding? What do you mean no media? This is a national interest story. Wait, excuse me, why are you forcibly removing me?
Because there's no media in here. This is a private...
Why not? Excuse me. Well, why can't we film in here?
Because you don't have the public affairs office with you.
It's a city establishment, so we should be able to film in here, right? Taxpayer funded? All right, well, let's capture everything. They obviously don't want us to see this, so let's just make sure we capture everything in here so that people can see how out of control it is. So they already have the migrant facilities that were intended to house these people that are so busy and out of control that this is what we're getting here in San Antonio in the middle of downtown. So, and it's overwhelmed here, folks. As you can see, there's way too many people here. And we're getting intelligence that people from Congo are coming here, that is an African nation riddled with Ebola, thousands of people dying from Ebola. Is there a proper vetting process happening here? Are people from Ebola-ridden countries here right now? Well, this is odd. Yeah, there is a national emergency here. Is anybody here from Congo?
Yes.
So there are people here from Congo.
Okay, I'll spare you the noise. This knucklehead grabs a bullhorn and starts blaring the siren over and over and over. And he did admit, he said that people from Congo are there right there downtown. Folks, this is a national emergency, and look, it's a national emergency against the Democrat Party. It's a national emergency against these workers. I mean, I know they're trying to do their job, but you've got a lot of these people. I mentioned yesterday, my brother sits next to somebody that doesn't want Donald Trump being president of the United States. She works for the government. Something really wrong with this stuff, and it's because of Democrats gaslighting these people. And when we speak about Democrats and we speak about, we make fun of Nancy Pelosi and AOC and the likes and the mumbling and the stumbling. Socialism is a mental disorder and it is a disease, especially when you're asked a question and you got to come up with an answer. AOC make one up on the spur of the moment. Sounds pretty dumb. Nancy Pelosi.
Do you believe he should be impeached?
Well, first of all, where does Mueller? But his burden of proof. This tax bill is Armageddon. This is it. This is on our budget.
Can't get a word in edgewise. Just a full sentence. Can't even make one. Over here in Canada, I'm just putting this on display because socialism is a mental disorder. This at PAOLA _ December 1231. Our Minister of Weather, in one clip, this is brain pollution. I hereby decree Canada immediately impose a stupid tax.
I think we just want to understand, does the Ontario government support the national plan?
But obviously they don't. They say that they don't want a federal price on carbon or a carbon tax. They don't want the cap and trade system. So clearly we know what they're going to say in September. Does that mean that a federal carbon tax, Ontarians will then be, will have a federal carbon tax to deal with come January 2019?
Look, we've been clear that we're going to be working with Ontarians to tackle climate change.
Yes.
We know we need to also be making sure that we're supporting Ontarians, and all monies that we collect, the monies will go back into Ontarians and directly to individuals. And so, look, we want to be.
In what form, Minister? In what form? So how will, just so that Ontarians who are listening to this, so you will collect a tax, a federal carbon tax. How will that money go back to people in Ontario?
There's different options, but we can do it through rebate checks, for example. So people get checks, so they're made whole, and they also have an opportunity to save money if they reduce, on top of having money to support, the things that they want to spend money. They have an opportunity to save money.
This is nonsense. This is the nonsense that is the Democrat Party. This is the nonsense that are liberals. Liberals. This is the nonsense, the brain-eating disorder that is liberalism, folks. Clearly on display right here, the Democrat Party is flailing right now. They have no new ideas, and this is what they're doing in order to fire up their base or get things rolling. It's out of control. We've got to call it out. Every time we see it, we've got to call this out. Folks, share this show with your friends and your family. New Right Network's original series, SmythTV. Your host, Brian Smith, giving you all the breaking news of the day, wrapping it all up, making sense of it, exposing the fake news media, exposing the Democrats' agenda, giving you the real news every single night. Again, jump over to SmythTV, crush the Patreon, and by being a Patreon, you will get the show notes early. You'll get the show early on. You can watch and view it whenever you want, and all the details for the show, you'll get an inside exclusive. Not only that, but you'll have access to me and the rest of our Patreons where we get together and we talk 24/7, always messaging each other and getting into conversations about great stuff like this and having great dialogues. That's what you get as a Patreon. And one last thing on the Democrats when it's coming to the border at B. McCory 9. Here's what Tim Miturkov said to David Asman on Fox on health care to illegals.
Well, I think obviously Tom Perez is out there doing cleanup duty after his entire slate of 2020 Democrats were on stage with their hands raised in the air saying, yes, indeed, our health care proposals would cover free government-provided health insurance for illegal immigrants. This is a proposal that is at a time when the prevailing opinion of the Democrat among the candidates on the stage there is to eliminate private health insurance for almost 200 million Americans. At the same time, 20 million American seniors will be tossed off their Medicare Advantage plans. And then they want to say in the same breath, we're also going to give free taxpayer-provided health care to people who have broken the law to enter this country. I mean, it's just astounding. So naturally, he's got to go out there and make it sound as palatable as possible because it is a unanimous position right now among Democrats running for president.
You know, Tim, I can't say it enough, guys. There are no good ideas coming out of this Democrat Party. Everything from welfare, free money for all. You got the one that's willing to give everybody $1,000 a month if elected president of the United States. Global warming, carbon taxes. I mean, this is just all reminiscent of the Obama era, where we're just absolutely sick and tired of all this race baiting and all this mandering around and just really trying to angst people. We're tired of all of this. The racist, sexist, bigot, homophobes, the name calling, Antifa, all of this stuff. We're tired of it, and that's why we elected Donald Trump as president. That's why we need to continue to talk about this and re-elect Donald Trump 2020. This will make their heads explode. Either they get on board or they get out of Dodge. That's just the way it's got to happen, folks. And let's take a look at Democrats 2020. The House Democrats sue to obtain Donald Trump's tax returns. Yes, that's correct. This from Breitbart News. And again, folks, down in the description below, there's a link that'll take you over to the show notes, and it has all the links to all the articles and all the great patriots to follow right there. This right here, Breitbart News writes this article. It's about the House, and he quotes them as saying that we're trying to do our oversight, and we want to make sure that the IRS is handling Donald Trump's returns properly. And this is what the House Democrats said. They said, in refusing to comply with the statute, defendants have mounted an extraordinary attack on the authority of Congress to obtain information needed to conduct oversight of Treasury, the IRS, and the tax laws on behalf of the American people who participate in the nation's voluntary tax system. It ain't very voluntary. I'm telling you right now, they're talking about we need to be able to evaluate Donald Trump's audit to make sure that it's going properly. Voluntary tax system? No, you go to jail, you don't pay tax. Ask Wesley Snipes about that. Ask Willie Nelson. Come on, man. These Democrats are so wicked and evil. This is why they're going after Trump, because they got nothing. So don't be worried about this. This should actually make you feel better about what's going on, because Donald Trump is actually doing the opposite of what all these politicians have done over the last 40, 50, 60 years, completely undoing and unraveling all the wrong, undoing all the evilness that the Democrats are doing. And this is why they're going after him, suing him. This ain't going to win. Donald Trump ain't giving up. And I mark my words, when they do get Donald Trump's tax returns, because it's going to be leaked by somebody. It's either going to be leaked by a never-Trumper, someone who hates Trump, or it might be leaked by somebody who loves Trump. And you say, why, Brian? Why would they do that? Because it's going to show how great Donald Trump is doing with his own taxes and how much he spends, how much he has to pay in taxes. Just like Rachel Madcow, who's completely destroyed her show with lies and gaslighting. Rachel Madcow, we got his 1040 form. Look. Yeah, it shows he paid a whole lot of taxes, y'all. And showed he lost a whole lot of money. And showed that he made a comeback from all that. Come on. This is what they're doing. And I don't think they really even want his tax returns. They just want the threat, the fear. And letting their own party know, we're on it. We are on top of the job. Now, your party is dwindling. It's getting smaller. Hashtag walk away. Hashtag Blexit. Hashtag Jexodus. Walking away from the Democrat Party, folks. Kamala Harris overtakes Elizabeth Warren in a national poll. How about that? And Buttigieg slips to just 6% support after crybaby debate performance. Buttigieg also warned black Americans of another civil war. That's the fear-mongering again. Just always fear. You black Americans, I'm telling you right now, if you thought this was awful, civil war's bad. Oh my goodness, we're about ready to do another one again. Well, apparently Buttigieg doesn't realize what the Civil War was. That was Republicans snatching slaves away from the Democrats. Come on, Buttigieg, this ain't gonna work. Social media prove you wrong. Mayor Pete Buttigieg on Monday announced his second quarter fundraising haul of $23 million. I don't know how true that is or not. I don't know if he really truly you pulled in $23 million. If he did, that's a pretty good haul. However, I do know that that if you tell the IRS that you made $1 million and you didn't, but you're willing to pay the tax on that $1 million, they'll let you claim it. Yep, fact. If you tell the IRS that you made $1 million and the IRS says, okay, that'll be $30,000 or $100,000, whatever the price tag may be, and you're willing to pay that $100,000, then you can actually file a tax return for $1 million when you really didn't, but you're willing to pay for it. I don't know that that'd be the case here, but that sounds like a lot of money. Bernie Sanders revealed that he pulled in $18 million in the second quarter. I'm actually surprised that those numbers aren't flipped. I'm surprised that Bernie Sanders didn't bring 23 and Buttigieg 18. But whatever you don't spend, you get to keep. This is a big, giant money grab, guys. Big money grab. And we were talking earlier about Antifa. Breitbart News reports Eric Swalwell condemns Antifa attack on journalist Andy Ngo. Well, thank you, Swalwell. Appreciate that. At the same time, Media Matters defends Antifa and says, well, you know, kids just having fun, whatever, man. And now apparently Portland, Oregon is releasing pictures of Antifa, looking for help for those that may recognize them that will lead to an arrest. I say you need to arrest the mayor. Start with that one. Andy Ngo also made a statement. He said, how many more people have to be beaten before things change? This is what the Democrats want. Violence. Hate, anger, and violence. And as we round out the show with the greatest news of all time, guys, President Donald Trump. This at Breitbart.com. Donald Trump announces massive $105 million second quarter fundraising haul. President Trump, together with the National Republican Committee, has raised $105 million in the second quarter, the campaign announced on Thursday. Donald Trump's campaign said, our massive fundraising success is a testament to the overwhelming support for our President Trump. Campaign manager Brad Pascal said, no Democrat candidate can match the level of enthusiasm or President Trump's outstanding record of results. The campaign now has $100 million cash on hand. And as we talked about this yesterday, the White House tweeted this out. The moment President Trump meets Chairman Kim at the DMZ and becomes the first sitting president to enter North Korea.
반갑습니다. Good to see you again. 이런 데서 각하를 만나게 될 줄 생각 못했어요. I've never expected to meet you at this place.
That's good. It's my honor. Would you like me to step across?
각하께서 한 발자국 건너시면 사상 처음으로 우리 땅을 밟으시는 미국 대통령이 되십니다.
If you're excellent, take a step forward. You will be the first U.S. president to cross the line. I'd be very proud to do that. Okay, let's do it. Come on.
That's what a winning president looks like, folks, right there, winning around the world. And the reason why I put that up is because Chuck U. Schumer retweeted this and said, my friend? ? Chuck U., let me just give you a heads up. It's better to be cordial and to work with diplomatically dictators trying to get them to turn the corner. Trust but verify. It's got no reason why not to call him a friend. Okay, let's be friends. Let's be cordial. Let's be friends. Let's have conversation and dialogue, and let's work this out so we can bring you out of the dark ages. Bringing North Korea out of the dark ages would be the greatest thing for all of Asia, would be the greatest thing for Japan, the greatest thing for South Korea. What are you going to do? Take him and throw him in prison? No, you got to let him know that we've got to turn the corner, and the greatest thing that's going to happen is that their people will be able to experience freedom, capitalism, jobs, food, toilet paper, just basic necessities, and maybe buy a car. That's Donald Trump. That's the capitalist at heart, folks. That's why Donald Trump is winning. That's why Donald Trump is going to get reelected in 2020. That is why his base is so absolutely thrilled with everything that he's doing right now. I'm truly excited about it. And this at B Fraser 747, this good friend of ours, and I am super excited that his health has come back and restored. He tweets out, "Congratulations to real Trump for an incredible overseas trip to the G20 summit."
I'd like to congratulate President Trump on his great trip overseas. And you know what? I'm going to predict that Donald Trump is going to win the Nobel Peace Prize, not just because he walked across into North Korea or not because he shook his hand. And listen, I want to be really clear about this. I'm tired of people saying, oh, Trump's shaking hands with dictators and buddy-buddy and all the rest of this stuff. It's nonsense. These people are who they are. You know, the Democrats, I mean, look, they gave them Iranian one, they Hillary Clinton in the pay-per-play, and you got Obama making a deal with the Iranians, giving them back $180 billion or some crazy thing, $1.8 billion in cash. I mean, these people are burning the flag in the streets, chanting death to America. You know, the bottom line is, you know, these people are who they are. I mean, you're stuck with them. And we've learned, if we haven't learned anything, it's the regime change does not work. So, I mean, what President Trump did was diplomacy at its finest. And, you know, I think that Kim Jong-un, I mean, yeah, sure, he's got a lot of problems and he's a crazy guy, but you know what? I really believe that he could be the person to bring North Korea into the 21st century, and I think that's something that might appeal to him, and I think there's a very good chance that we could have that. So stop criticizing Trump for shaking his hand or walking into North Korea. You know, it wasn't long ago we were on the verge of a nuclear war. So get over it, you idiots. Just read the replies that you're going to see on this tweet. If you want to question me, they're going to spell them out. What you know the Democrats have done, and you know what Trump did was he showed us the art of the deal, diplomacy at its finest, and I predict good things will come from it. And I think Donald Trump's going to end up winning the Nobel Peace Prize for this, and you know maybe Kim Jong-un too. You know, if they can bring peace in that region and bring peace to the people in North Korea that are suffering, then you know what? They deserve it.
Thank you so much, Brian. I'm saying the exact same thing. We're in lockstep, my friend. Guys, this is New Right Network's original series, SmythTV. Your host, Brian Smith, giving you all the breaking news, wrapping it all up, showcasing our patriots and our good friends on social media. Great minds. This is the great minds right here, folks. Right here, the great minds of the conservative movement, the Make America Great Again, the America First agenda, the Donald Trump party. Donald Trump, make no bones about it. Donald Trump has hijacked the Republican Party. Ronna McDaniels helping Donald Trump hijack the Republican Party. Guys, it's now on our shoulders to continue the hijacking of the Republican Party. Run for office, run for local city council member, run for Congress, run for something, get involved. Get some skin in the game, guys. Jump over to SmythTV, become a Patreon, help New News Media continue to put out great information, expose the fake news, and give you the real news every single night, Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern, and right after the show, the Wayne Dupree Show. You should jump down in the description and click the Wayne Dupree Show and check it out. All right, guys, for Tuesday Thoughts, peace.
You've been listening to New Right Network, mobilizing, countering, energizing. Online at newrightnetwork.com.